Shalom Aleichem Rabotai, Shavua Tov. We're continuing in Mishnah Yomi for Yud Aleph B'Tammuz. Yesterday we started the 6th parak in Terumot about Ha'ochel Truma Shogeg, what to do when somebody ate Truma by accident and this person was not entitled to a Truma. We discussed they pay back the Keren and a Chomesh, a fifth of the total, meaning 25% of the amount they ate on top of that original, and that becomes Truma. Now, continuing in Mishnah Gimel, the third Mishnah, Hamachil et Poelav, vet Orchav Truma, a host or a businessman at Balabayas who fed Truma to his hired workers or to his guests. Now, if you hire people to work for you, to come work in the field or whatever it is, you have to feed them lunch. That's part of the deal. That's part of the expectation. The Gemara in Bava Metzia discusses this. And here, instead of feeding them chulin mitukanim, properly fixed up food, he fed them truma by accident. So the Mishnah rules, hu mishalem et keren. He pays the principal, the amount they ate, hem mishalmin et chemish. But they have to pay the penalty because lamaisa, they ate it even though it was his mistake. Divrei Rabbi Meir. That's according to Rabbi Meir. Chochamim omrim, but the other sages disagree, and they say hem mishalmin keren v'chumish. The workers have to pay, because they ate it, Rabbosai, the principal value of what they ate, plus the chomesh penalty, v'hu mishalem, and the owner, or the host who fed them, he is mishalem lahem demei sudatan. He pays them back the full value of their meal. Now, that may sound a little unfair. What did these poor workers or guests do? The Yomi explains that really the value here is the same, or they might even be getting more, because when they're paying back the keren, they're paying demei truma. They're paying the value of truma, and because of supply and demand, or both say there's less demand for truma because only kohanim and their households can eat it. So if there's less demand, then the price is lower. So they're paying back at a lower price, but the reimbursement from the host or the businessman is at full value of chulin. So they're really not losing anything out. Mishnah Dalet, Hagonev Truma v'lo chula. Somebody ate Truma, but he didn't eat it. He didn't consume it. Mishalem Toshlume Kefil Demei Truma. He has to pay back double, and he pays back the value of Truma. As we just said, due to supply and demand, free market Truma economics, since there's less demand for Truma, the price is lower than the equivalent amount, the equivalent seya of chulin would cost more than a seya of Truma. So here he still has to pay back twice because the Torah obligates a thief to pay back twice. That's a din d'oraisa, not related to Truma, but applies to anything. A chola, if the thief ate it, mishalem shnei kronaim, he pays back 2 kerens, again, kefil, he has to mishalem kefil, pay back double because of the theft. V'chomesh, and also the chomesh penalty for eating it. Keren v'chomesh min chulin. Now he pays back a keren and chomesh from chulin, like we learned at the beginning of the parak. But keren demei truma, and the the extra keren, the extra principal because of his thievery here, he can pay back the demei truma, because it's not a din in truma, it's a din in stealing from the shevet, from the kohen. Gon of trumat hektish ve'chola. This thief stole truma that was also hektish. So what happened was a kohen received truma, as he is entitled to, and he decided to donate it, or to be makdish it, to the Beit HaMikdash, to the temple. The Bartner points out it's going to be bedek bayit, because we're not going to bring a korban from truma, so it'd go to the treasury, the temple upkeep, the building fund, we'd call it bedek bayit, and they would sell it to kohanim to eat, and they would use the money for the upkeep and the maintenance and the bedek bayit funds. So this thief, he stole truma that was hekdesh, it was bedek bayit, the chola, and then he ate it. So mishalem shnei chumoshim v'keren. He pays back 2 penalties and 1 principal. She'ein behekdesh tashlume kefil, because there's no double payment for stealing from hekdesh, but there is a chomesh payment. So what's going on is he has to pay back the keren, the principal, which is now owned by Bedek Abayis, owned by the temple treasury, and he has to pay for eating truma. He has to pay a penalty of a chomesh to the kohanim because they ate their truma, and then he has another chomesh for using hekdesh, for using sanctified items that's another chomesh, but not another keren, because the pasuk says in Mishpatim, Yishalom Shnaim l're'ehu, a thief pays double to his fellow man, v'lo lahekdesh. The Beis Hamikdash is not the fellow man for the purposes of the halacha of repaying stolen items. Shkoyach Rabosai, Shabbat Tov, Good Vach.